Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge here with some more of Cardfight Vanguard card discussion. We have the last of DZBT 11 today, which is the two remaining Frieren red lines. Stark got revealed in Card of the Day between streams, and then the Tuesday stream was Fern. We're actually going to go over the Card of the Day one first because it's a shared ride line, so we won't know the Fern ride line if we talk about that first. So we'll go over Stark first, and then we'll go over Fern. All right, let's get into it. All right, so let's talk about the broadline first. We'll talk about Mr. Stark in a moment. So grade 0 is Fern, just normal starter stuff. Grade 1 is Frieren and Fern. When rolled upon by the grade 2, no, when rolled upon on the grade 1, you look top 7 and you add up to 2 normal orders with the Frieren race from among them to your hand, and then the grade 2 is when you ride upon Frieren and Fern. It is Stark and Frieren and Fern, so it has Stark in its card name. Important. You look the top 7 cards from your deck, and you again add up to 2 normal orders with the Frieren race to your hand. So very generic ride line, but importantly has Fern's card name at grade 1 and has Stark and its card name at grade 2, which is fairly relevant to like the orders and stuff. Though like they're also like graded in such a way where you wouldn't be able to play them earlier anyways. So the grade 3 Stark is it gives your front row plus 5k power if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. When it attacks, you can counterblast 1 and stand one of your rear guards. And then when this unit gets attacked, you can discard a card to give it plus 15k. So you can convert dead orders in your hand into shield value, which is very nice. Always like to see that kind of thing. And then its last effect is it's Reziel's Divine Skill, basically. Just a different form of it. When you damage check a card with the Frieren race that has Stark in its card name or Dragon Slaying Strike, which is the order. While you have 5 or more in your damage zone, you heal 1 from your damage zone, and for the rest of this fight, you cannot heal by your Vanguard's effect. So yeah, it's just like a like 20. So like you can run 8 copies of the order, as we'll get into in a moment. So you get 8 copies of that, then your 3 Persona Ride copies, and then your 4 grade 2 Starks that you 100% need to run because it's your way of getting to 5 attacks. So that's 15. Then you add the heals and the OT to 20. So you have a really, really high chance of healing. Even higher than Reziel. Though, like, not really, because Reziel returns before when Reziel uses Divine Skill. Reziel returns triggers to the deck, so you get really good compression that way, and you're going to want to be pulling these things out of your deck and using them, and don't really have a way to put them back in, and don't really want to put them back in. So yeah. Then we have the Order, Dragon Slaying Strike, grade 2. You can play up to 8 copies of it in your deck. It can be played from your drop, and it can only be played if you have a Stark Vanguard with Frieren race. It binds itself, and you choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets when this unit's attack hits, you can draw a card, and it gets power plus 5k, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, plus 10k instead. And then we also have Aizen, who cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects, and was in the center back row, and you have a grade 3 or greater Frieren race Vanguard. You can rest it to give your Vanguard the effect that it battles all units in the same column, and power plus 5k, and then optional plus soul charge 1. Oh, it doesn't actually mention here, but yeah, it does have to be a Stark Vanguard. Freedom Duelist Train Station doesn't mention this, but it does have to be a Stark Vanguard. This would be relevant to Fern if you could use it with any Fern race Vanguard. But basically, this is to get 2 potential procs on the on-hit draw. It basically guarantees you'll get at least 1, because your opponent isn't going to guard their center back row. They're just not going to guard their center back row. Which is like all right. And then Warble is why does it say hit? Why does it say hit? It doesn't, it's on hit. What's going on here, Freedom Duo? But okay, when this attacks, and you have a grade 3 or greater Frieren race Vanguard, it gets power plus 5k. Then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can EB2 for another plus 5k, so it's a 10 plus 10k attacker, 20k. Then you choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and it cannot intercept or stand. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, it cannot intercept and it cannot stand during the stand phase. So like this is a solid attacker that you would probably want in the deck because like you do kind of really want plus 10k attackers because the power gain in this deck is really not great. You get the orders plus 10k on your Vanguard, but like your front row buff is only plus 5k. So like the numbers are not super fantastic and you don't really scale at all. So like you really need rear guards that like get plus 10k themselves to hit sufficient damage to hit sufficient power numbers on your columns. Especially because like the rear that you restand with Stark's effect is not going to have its booster restood. And so like both with the grade 2 Stark that's going to be multi-attacking whenever you restand. Here, you really need it to be sufficient on one of its attacks without a booster. So like you really need stuff that's like gaining quite a bit of power. It's very, very important. Very, very important. Then we move on to Fern. We got some news about the lyrical set. Basically, there will be a box topper, trigger gift rare, which and you can get the, so like these are the trigger gift rares. They're like basically FR with a different frame for the 3 effect triggers, the crit the effect crit, the effect draw, and the 20k front specifically, with like alternate art. Wait, is this alternate art? I'm pretty sure it's alternate. I definitely don't recognize that front art. Oh no, these are the TGR plus. Sorry, the TGR plus can replace it. Normally, you get one of these TGRs, which in addition to the effect front, the effect draw, and the effect crit, there's 3 vanilla crits, 1 vanilla draw, 1 vanilla front, and 2 vanilla heals. So yeah. Whoa, crazy! We have box toppers. And then we have Fern. So grade 3 Fern is during your turn. Actually, let's talk about the order first. So the order is Zoltrak, grade 1. So since the ride line has Fern's its card name at grade 1, you can start using this turn 1, which it does kind of matter. You can play it from drop, and if you have a Vanguard with Frieren race and Fern in its name, it costs Energy Blast 1. So like you can super easily support the Energy Blast 2 cards, super cheap. Bind it, and you choose and retire one of your opponent's rear guards. And then if no unit was retired and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you choose one of your Vanguards, and during this turn it gets power plus 5k. Definitely a Default Merchant. Certainly a Default Merchant. Even more so with Fern herself. She has the continuous that during your turn, all of your units in the front row get power plus 5k for every 2 Zoltrak in your bind zone. So, like, for example, if we use it on turn 1 and turn 2, and then again on turn 3, we will have 3 Zoltraks in our bind zone on our first grade 3 turn, which gives us plus 5k to our front row. That applies to our Vanguard as well, unlike Stark's. And then on turn 4, we use a 4th Zoltrak, and we get to plus 10k scaling. So that's pretty solid. Those power numbers are actually way better than Stark's. Then Auto Vanguard once per turn. When you play Zoltrak, you can counterblast 1, stand this unit, and attack your opponent's Vanguard during the main phase. During this battle, its drive becomes 0, and it stands at the end of the battle, so you can attack with it again in the battle phase. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or above, it has 1 drive during this battle instead of 0, and you don't have to pay anything for that. So you're effectively getting triple drive. Also cool, Stark specifically checks for first battle in the battle phase, so it still works. So you're getting 5 attacks. But also, once your opponent's on your grade 3, you have the possibility of going flip a trigger, and now Stark has it for both of its attacks, which is always like a pretty strong interaction that we don't see a whole lot of nowadays. So that seems quite nice. And then as an act effect, to discard a card from your hand, look top 7, and add a Frieren race with Frieren, Sign, Ubel, Land, or Hater in its name. So, of course, the collab's Teeth Vault is Frieren name. So you can add the Teeth Vault to your hand, which is really good. Really, really fantastic. You can also add Hater. Hater is a grade 1 that when placed on rare and you have a Frieren race Vanguard with Fern's card name, you can blast 1, look top 7 for is it look for a Frieren? Yeah, it's look for a Frieren. And add your hand. Shuffle your deck, and if no card was revealed, CC1. So this is another way that you can dig for your Teeth Vault. So greatest Teeth Vault merchant of all time, and you can do this on when you're on turn 2. So like it makes your Teeth Vault pushes really, really consistent. You can turn Sargon on even in the rare scenario where like you can't get your rear guard count higher, because you can play this order on turn 1. Really good at punishing early commitment, since you have this early game retire. Just having access to retire is just very, very nice. I don't remember what land does. Let me see if I can pull up what card that is. Right. Land is the grade 1 that can intercept from back row. And when it's retired from rear during your opponent's turn, you can EB2 and bounce it back to your hand. You probably don't run that. I doubt you run that. Ubel is probably decently worthwhile to run. Because Ubel is plus 5k. And then you get to retire or stun something, which is pretty solid. But like the big things are getting to pull out Frieren, or Hater, who can get Frieren. You can't get Stark. Let me double check here. No, it can't get Stark. Freedom Doe just forgot to write that down. So you can get Stark as well, which means you can get your multi-attacker. So like the important targets are Frieren, Stark, maybe Ubel, maybe Hater as another way to get to your Frieren. But yeah, that's very nice. And like the fact that adds to hand is super relevant, because it means you can go discard a copy of the order from your hand, and then you add Teeth Vault Frieren to your hand, and because it adds to your hand, like it's so important that adds to your hand, because that means that you still have the opportunity to play the order from the drop zone before calling the Teeth Vault and getting the Teeth Vault effect. Super good. I like this one a lot. I think this one's way better than Stark. The power numbers just are better, and it scales. Multiple Vanguard attacks is like especially better. The first attack on turn 3 is only going to be 18k unless you find another way to buff your Vanguard. But that's like fine. Yeah, that's like fine. Because like, especially if you're going first, 18k, you can still do 5 attacks on your opponent's grade 2 Vanguard, which is pretty solid. And then it scales fine once you get to Persona Ride turn. It's probably worthwhile to look into methods of buffing up your Vanguard's power. I'm sure there's something in Keter that you could use to do that fairly reasonably, because the big thing is, like, with these sorts of main phase attacks, you can't boost your Vanguard for that. So you have no way of getting that power from boost. So you need to have ways of directly buffing the Vanguard. But there's definitely ways you can do that. There's definitely like methods with which you could do that within Keter if you look hard enough. Whether that's worth doing is for the players to determine. But like this Fern seems quite nice. I think Frieren is probably still the best of the 3 collab decks. Um, but this is doing some solid stuff. Has some much better power numbers than Stark is putting out. Yeah. All right. That's going to be it for me. I'll be seeing you guys later. Thursday we have the apparently angel feather coated lyrical deck getting revealed. So I'll see you then. It's Higher Surge signing off.